Welcome to Black Love Matters. We're the service of therapy session for figuring out adulthood,
loving each other,
or finding our inner Brock and Michelle,
or Jay-Z and Beyonce. Or in this episode, we're going to go with Maggie Lena Walker, and we're going to go with her boo, who is Armstead Walker Jr. What we doing, we really highlighting Maggie Lena Walker because she was an African-American teacher and businesswoman. And Walker was the first African-American female bank president to charter a bank in the United States. As a leader, she achieved success with the vision to make tangible improvements in the way of African Americans and women disabled by paralysis and limited to a wheelchair. Later in life, Walker also became the example for folks with disabilities and still doing the damn thing. So we thought that was very fitting because, as y'all can probably tell by the title of the episode, we're talking about home buying. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, unless you come from that long, strong coin, you're going to have to go to somebody's bank lender to get a piece of that coin from. And what better way to highlight Black love than showing, of course, a Black woman, right? To become to highlight this couple. What do you think about that, Nirams?
I like it.
I love it. I actually didn't know about Maggie.
Me either.
I thought it was actually going to be someone else, and it wasn't. But I was like, we need to shout out Maggie. And I think her kind of stomping ground was down in Richmond area. Mm-hmm. So shout out to them.
That's what's up.
Anyway, who is you?
I'm Nero.
And I'm Nyambi.
And this is episode 218, y'all.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Be sure to leave a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and on Stitcher. Help us get our goal of 2,000 ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. So grab your phone, grab your mama phone, your daddy phone, your kids' iPod Touch, and
people got iPod Touches.
Yes, and your iPad. And go ahead and leave us some 5-star rating and reviews.
Exactly.
And then follow us on all forms of social media at Black Love Matters. That's Black with no K.
Yep.
What's going on, baby?
I don't have much. Mm-hmm. Go Kamala. Kamala for 2020.
She's your queen.
I think I want to ease out to Oakland. I think I want to ease out to Oakland on the 27th. Next Sunday. Where I don't know. I guess we're doing a pep rally. I don't know what we're doing, Kamala. I don't have much money, but I can give you a couple dollars to support your efforts. But she doing something in Oakland. Okay. And I think I need to be in the house.
Yes.
Right? I'm sure they're going to do it at Merritt Park. Mm-hmm. So how are we going to get there now? We can't drive. We're going to have to.
We're going to take the either take an Uber.
I'm not taking an Uber from Silicon Valley to.
We either have to take an Uber or we're going to take the train.
Want to take that BART?
Yes. We're going to get on that BART.
Jesus. I think we got to get on that BART.
Yeah, we're going to get on that BART on the other side of the bay.
On the other side of the bay. Sitting on the dock. But I want to support her. Go Kamala.
I'm with it.
I want the Democratic Party to be smart. Right now we got the Kamala and Elizabeth. Sorry, Lizzie. Mm-hmm. I'm changing my vote.
Oh. That quick?
How many times I'm going to change my vote before that?
I
don't need the Democrats to get messy. I need us to come out here very firm with what we're going to do and how we're going to do it.
Very strong.
Okay? Don't give too many fucking options. We don't got time like the Republicans did. We don't need 10 options. Give us maybe 3 or 4 people to choose from. Mm-hmm. We don't have time to be dividing this vote more and more and more up. And then we got problematic face like Killer Mike still mad because Bernie ain't coming for it. Like, no, we're not doing that this session.
Killer Mike still mad?
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he has something to say about this. You don't think?
I don't know.
Absolutely he does.
Let me look on this Instagram.
He wanted to do... Never mind. I almost said something else. But now my vote has shifted from Elizabeth Warren to Kamala Harris. Shout out to Queen Kamala. And I know you niggas said Kamala got that white man. No one's perfect.
She do got that white man.
What Elizabeth got?
I don't know.
A white man too. Y'all acting like Elizabeth married what is it called? A Mandinka warrior. Elizabeth got a white man too. No one's perfect. All her policies, just like Obama, just like Hillary, I do not agree with everything that Kamala Harris says, but I think she's the most qualified person that has been presented to me between her and Lizzie Warren. Yes. So I don't want to hear nothing else. Who you think else gonna come for it? I don't know if Uncle Joe should do it now.
No.
And he's not going to be a vice president again. So I think Uncle Joe's all set.
You think that?
For some reason, I just don't want to see Uncle Joe, Kamala, and Lizzie all going at each other. I don't want to see that. Like, I feel like we need Uncle Joe to be an endorsement. Mm-hmm. You think he can go for it there? Would you recommend?
Nah. Not with all these women going up there.
Why you say?
You know, Uncle Joe ain't nothing came out about you yet, but...
Oh, you think Uncle Joe got some skeletons?
He a white man, ain't he?
In the age of Me Too, he do got some skeletons.
All I got to say is he a white man, ain't he?
Yeah. You better be all set. And he ain't going to take it gracefully. Mm-mm. Not the way he was calling niggas cupcakes 3 years ago. Yeah, I think you're all set, Joe. But what we need you to do, Joe, we need you to be on this political train. Like, we need you, once we get through these primaries, whoever the winner is, we need you, Obama, Hillary, Bernie, we need everybody on it. We need you. I just want to hear whoever this person names so many times. I see you looking at RBG. Please tell me she ain't dead.
No, Fox News.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. I thought she was passed. Lord, I almost
Fox
passed
News. I don't mean to cut you up, but yeah, I was looking on Twitter.
I just seen Niram got his phone, and I just seen a picture of RBG. I said, Lord, don't tell me she gone.
Fox News had to issue an apology because they put up a graphic of her today talking about she had died on Fox and Friends.
Child, now that's one white woman. When she go, I'm gonna hit the ground. I'm gonna have to be a day of mourning.
Talking about it was a quote unquote error by the graphics team.
How you put a graphic that somebody died?
I don't know.
Shout out to Boo.
Oh, Boo died.
Y'all know that dog, that pomegranate.
The cutest dog on the internet.
He done went to the savior.
Yeah, look, they had put this on.
Oh my God.
That was on Fox and Friends.
Why would they do that? That's a straight up obituary picture.
Yes.
With like born and dead.
Yes. That was on Fox and Friends today.
Did somebody read off Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died?
Yes, on Fox and Friends.
That person didn't look to their left, look to their right, and be like, did we confirm? Did TMZ confirm?
Fox and Friends accidentally shows a graphic showing Ruth
So they already got it in the files.
Yes.
They waiting.
They talking about it was a mistake.
So they just have a PowerPoint presentation of Ruth in her death?
Yes.
With the date on it?
Yes.
So they're prophesizing?
Yes.
It wasn't like it was the year she was born with a dash. To say we'll fill it in.
No.
They said this year she going to Savior. They wrong. They had to issue an apology. Somebody should get fired off that one. Or suspended at minimum.
Talking about it was a control room error.
You don't just have... So is every presidency just got lined up? Do they got Donald Trump's? With the date on it? I'm sorry, y'all. That done got me old sidetracked. But like I was saying, Democratic folks, the people at B, get your shit together. Keep it tight. We don't need no more than 4 candidates, 5 at the most. Once primaries come, I need y'all to act like those other people didn't even exist. More so, I need the people who lost to act like they ain't exist. Like when they see them, they ask them a question. I be like, I can't wait for President Kamala. Like I want them to swerve questions so hard, right? I want them to be so focused on whatever Kamala's, I don't know what her slogan is. You know, I'm claiming that she gonna get it right.
I came to slay. I don't know.
Yeah, I need them to like, even ask them like, do you feel disappointed that you lost? Absolutely not. Kamala Harris is gonna be the next president of the United States. Right. I need them to be on some get out shit.
Kamala Harris came to slay, and that's what she's
gonna do. I'm voting for her. Are you? Like, I need them to be that explicit because niggas can't take hints, obviously, from Bernie and Hillary. They can't take hints, so you can't be casual with it. I need you to be explicit. I don't need Bernie to run again.
You all set on Bernie?
I'm all set on him. Again, he can be on the campaign, preaching and talking about he done march with King. He can do all that, but I don't need him to run again. I wouldn't be mad at a John Kerry coming back again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at him. What about you?
Would you go and Kerry the governor of Michigan?
What?
Where's he the governor of?
No, he's. We're not gonna have it. This episode is about buying the house, not educating Nero on the Democratic Party and the influence.
But wasn't he like a governor somewhere?
Nero, he had a huge seat in the Obama cabinet.
I know, baby, but he was also something else.
A huge seat. just want you to figure it out. Because I don't want to be on here correcting you like this.
What you mean? People already did it already.
Would they correct
Talking
you?
about Bruce Willis was dead.
You're talking about he alive. No, what's the point of the movie? It's just a boy having delusions.
Yes.
No, the point is that he really was
dead.
He
was Ohio State. No, that's the wrong John Kerry. Where the hell? There's too many damn John Kerrys here.
Or wait, am I saying it wrong? The guy with the sandy hair.
I'm spelling Kerry wrong.
Oh, okay. That's what I know. I ain't that. Yeah, John Kerry. Oh, you spell Kerry K-A-R-E. Stop. No, K-E-R-R-Y with the thick ass chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him.
Yeah, he was in Michigan doing some shit. Because I know I seen him on some commercials and shit. Because he a lawyer.
I could digest him for the whites. Maybe like a VP spot. I could see him and Kamala. I really like the governor of Virginia, the one who went for Hillary. He just seemed like God blessed him. He's happy to be here.
He was.
I'm just so happy I was invited. But But he seems like good people.
He's like, I'm here.
It seemed like he was like, my wife told me to say yes.
Can't believe I made it.
I can't believe it. And this is why I'm grateful. Like, even when they lost, he was like, I just can't believe we made it this far.
Right.
I just can't.
Hillary, that was a good shot. Like, we tried it.
It's like, shut the fuck up. But I'm rooting for Kamala. Democratic Party, like I said, is tightening it up. Any other prospects you have near them? Because they all about to start coming out the next month. I'm all set for the Latino men.
Beto?
I'm all set for all of them. There's a whole crew of them.
Okay.
Beto, Julian, I'm all set.
You said they can kick rocks.
No, I ain't said they can kick rocks. But I'm all set with the Latino men this cycle. Maybe in 8 years. No, I'm just saying because Kamala gonna get two terms. I'm all set with the Latino men though. Are you all set with them?
I didn't know he was running.
He's not, but it's been hintings, right? You know how they be hinting around things. What's that other boy name? I'm not sure if he's Latino or Asian.
Who?
Julian?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? I forgot his name. But it's little names they be sliding in there. But I'm all set for that. I'm also all set for Gillum, too.
What if Cory Booker get up there?
Can I have a Black Love Matters honest moment?
Sure.
I'm not sure if I trust Cory Booker.
Oh, really?
No, it's just between us, though. If anybody asks me outside, I'm going to say I support him.
Oh.
I don't know. I just don't know. I have no reason to back it. It's just my woman's intuition. I'm listening to this sense. I just don't.
Is it because you're a black man?
Oh, the way you niggas are so piss poor. Right? Just so piss poor. I mean, I guess if Obama mentored him, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely
He's like Obama 2.0.
Nigga, no. No, he's not.
He's not Obama.
And y'all can keep repeating that fallacy.
He Obama 2.0.
I mean, I like some of his stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not anti him. He's not Trump or anything. If he gets it, I'm not going to, die and go to heaven. But I could see a Kamala. I can even see a Lizzie Warren before him. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. But whatever. And if it come down in the primaries, the nigga Cory up there, I'm team Cory. But I'm just telling you am I the only one black woman that get us something? When you look at Cory, you be like, ooh. I don't know. Sometimes nope, I ain't going to say it because I might interview him one day. Nope. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I almost really went down a rabbit hole.
Please don't.
Because certain men, no.
We're trying to get our Oprah bag.
We're trying to get our Oprah on.
We're trying to get our Oprah bag.
And I don't need them pulling out a question. They pulling out this tape.
Don't worry, we get the Oprah. We deleting all this shit. Black love who?
Look, who's not? I don't know who the fuck y'all talking about. Who is that? No, but I'm excited that Kamala's going for it. I'm excited. I am Team Democratic Party. I just need everyone to tighten it up, and fly right. Keep me prayed up, y'all. I'm right now at this moment. I'm going through some adventures and doing some things. So just if you got an extra moment in your prayer, throw Nyams in it. Mm-hmm. That's all I got. Nyams?
I really didn't got much.
Okay.
Truthfully. The only thing I really got is that there was some beef at the dog park when I sent Mabel.
What happened? Tell me about the beef at the dog park.
So what's this lady with a pit bull? He was about 6 months old. Mm-hmm. Black lady. Mm-hmm. She's cool people.
Black.
Yeah, like super black. She was so black she was smoking the Black and Mild black. And I was
no, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
In real life.
Yes.
Because I wasn't around. I was at the Trader Joe's, my favorite place.
Yes, she was smoking a Black and Mild.
At the dog
park.
We just got the air clean.
She was smoking a Black and Mild with
was anything in the Black and Mild?
Yes.
She was smoking weed.
No, she was smoking a Black and Mild.
Just a straight up
Black and Mild.
Just a swish of sweet.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I ain't need to be there. I'm like, sis.
With a blue bubble jacket on. Looking
like a dope boy from Brooklyn.
With some white and blue J's on.
Looking like a dope boy from Brooklyn.
So she got this pit bull that's about 6 months old.
What color was the pit bull?
It was tiger stripe. So what's that, Brindle?
Hood.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So tiger stripe, big ass head. The pit is, like I said, 6 months old. Like the pit is still very plain. The dog is also intact, so that means he ain't been neutered or nothing. So he still got his nuts.
So he horny.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this dog was just like around.
In Silicon Valley, no dogs have any sexual reproductive organs.
No, they don't believe in that. So this dog named Jesus.
Oh my God!
The dog was
Jesus or Jesus?
No, because you got to remember this is a black woman.
Jesus. First of all, I ain't naming no dog Jesus, but okay.
So the dog was named Jesus.
No, don't sit down, Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh my God. a lot. There's a lot more to the story.
Oh shit. So Jesus is running around. It's a dog park. So dogs are playing. They jumping on each other. They sniffing each other butts. All this other stuff. Jesus, since he's a young dog and he's horny, he just walking around like licking all the dog's genitals.
Oh, they nasty.
Boy, girl, it don't matter. He just licking them all.
I don't know how the whites let dog lick them in their mouth. Because Mabel can't come near my mouth.
He just licking them all. So it was this new dog that came in. There was like a border collie. Looked like she was kind of old, but she was a female. And I guess she wasn't neutered. And
really?
Yeah. And I guess it was her first visit there because the owner was very super shy. Like, I don't know if I take the leash off.
Yeah, take the leash off.
When he said that, the black one was like, well, she shouldn't be at the dog park if you don't want to take the leash
Oh,
off.
so they beefed before the beef even needed to be. Okay, you didn't tell me that, Nero. So they beefing before. They open welcome arms like, take the leash off. If something happens, we'll step in.
Mm-hmm. No.
That's what y'all should have reassured her.
No, she was, look, on her black and mild.
At the tip of her tongue. Y'all can't see Nero. Being mean. That's mean.
If you can't take the leash off the dog, dog shouldn't be here.
Oh my God.
And I look at her and I just started giggling.
Oh, shit. Is Nia listening? That's what I would be like, ding dong. Come on, Mabel. Come on, Mabel. Ding dong. Ding dong. Some shit is about to pop off here.
Shit. So, hour goes by. I'm going to say 30 minutes go by. Jesus is doing everything, sniffing everybody's dog, licking everybody's dog junk. Even licking Mabel's junk.
Mabel don't like that.
And Mabel don't like that. Because he's like horny trying to mount everything. So his dog, this border collie, sits on her back, like turn over.
Like a hoe?
Yeah, so Jesus had went for the genital area.
Yeah.
And the border collie
just turned over like a $2.
Let's just call her Susan.
Yeah.
So Susan just get on her back and like
open her legs.
And Jesus is just licking the shit out of Susan.
Oh my God.
And this goes on for like 5 minutes.
I mean, it take time.
This goes on for like 5 minutes. So the dude who got the border collie like, hey, get your dog, right?
Get your dog, her hoish ways.
So this goes on. So they separate, and then he's like, your dog needs to be in a timeout. And she's like, the fuck for?
Oh, smoke the black and mild again. Do it, Nero. Make the sound effect.
The fuck for?
This is too. I'm so glad I went there because I couldn't stay. The way my anxiety and depression set up, because I know if we got bucked with that sister, I would have to get bucked too. Is she a little wrong? But I still have to have her step back.
You need to get your dog. Your dog needs to go in times out.
That's her
black and mild on her lip. Well, your dog needs to go in fucking time out.
Oh my God. It's too much.
Your dog was on his fucking back getting licked.
She was a hoe.
My dog can protect itself from his dog. So
that
just
bitch like
it.
That bitch like it.
So they split up. Jesus started playing with other dogs, but eventually he get that sniff of that pussy.
You come back to the easy poon.
he
come back to the easy poon.
All the dogs was at the border collie sniffling and stuff like that. The border collie done turned back over, and here comes Jesus to swoop in over all the dogs. It's like he just jumped over dogs and started licking the border collie again.
Start licking the cooch again.
So they had one more breakup, and it's like, are you gonna get my dog? You gonna get your dog?
Black him out.
Don't you touch my fucking dog.
And that's the part, because I was coming from Trader Joe's and I was giving them something to drink.
It's the dog part.
And all I heard was, it's the fucking dog part.
It's the fucking dog part.
I said, I've never heard swearing in the dog part.
It's the fucking dog part.
I said, uh-oh.
It's the fucking dog part. Dog's gonna play. You gonna get your dog? Don't you touch my motherfucking dog.
I said, I'm gonna drop these groceries in the car. And if that wasn't settled by the time I came back, we were leaving. Did you know that, Nero?
Yes.
If this wasn't settled by the time I came back
it's the
from
fucking
walking
dog
to the parking
part.
lot, we were leaving.
It's the fucking dog part.
That's on the black and mild.
Dogs don't fucking play. Shit.
They was too intense.
So then one more time, Susan then laid on her back.
Why Susan keep rolling over?
And then he gonna come over there and like try to like move Jesus out the way with his foot and shit like that. Don't be kicking my motherfucking dog.
Oh my God.
You just doing this shit because he a fucking pit bull.
She wouldn't say because he's a nigga.
Right.
But
because I'm a black woman and he a pit bull. If this motherfucker was a fucking doodle mix, you wouldn't be doing this shit.
Oh my God. It's doggist.
So then the man put the dog on the leash and he started leaving. And like while he's like moving the dog and like taking the dog out the gate, like Jesus is like constantly like licking,
because that's his woman.
Is licking the shit out of this dog while he's walking.
And the black woman's letting him.
Yes. Can you get your damn dog before I kick this motherfucker?
He said that?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't tell me.
I said, oh, shit.
Oh, it's really ding dong.
Oh, shit.
What did the other dog parents? I know this when the other dog parents start saying, wait a minute.
They just started looking around.
Oh, Niram, I should have been there.
They was just looking around.
Wait a minute. Ain't nobody kicking nothing. Take you and your scary ass hoish dog out of here.
They was just looking around. And I was next to Sis, and I was like, you good? I'm good.
Oh, that's what you...
I said, oh, okay.
Look, this is me. Take your hoish dog. That's her brother, black and mild. Yeah, no, he wasn't gonna run. He ain't gonna run and jump.
I'm just saying, can you get your damn dog?
Why he roll it back? I'm just saying, can you
get your damn dog? My dog is on this leash and it cannot protect itself from your dog because it's on a 6-foot leash.
Because he likes it.
Meanwhile, Susan like, bye, boo.
I've never seen no foolishness
and
like
that's
that.
what it was. And now, what's going on? Should we get Mabel and leave?
That's what I said. I had to let it go. Because the thing is, if something pop off in that black woman there, I'm going to have to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't allow it to pop off and not say nothing. And I'm trying to be in a very good space.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I know Sis was a little bit wrong. I'm going to have to overlook all of that.
I'm
going to have to overlook the black and mild. I knew from the black and mild that something was going to happen. When has anyone spoken to black and mild ended well? When anybody who smokes black and well that's even tempered.
Just even kill nobody.
So,
because I was like, ma'am,
I don't know anyone who smokes a black and mild with an even temper.
Because we were talking about Mabel and her dog and things of that sort. So she's like, yeah, I got him off Craigslist, and
oh my God,
I got him at 3 weeks, and I bottle fed this dog.
Oh, that's her.
Yeah, that's her baby.
Yeah, that's her literal baby.
And I'm like, oh, I just got Mabel from the pound.
Maybe about $20. She was hiding in the corner.
And then she pulled out that black and mild.
And you knew it was something.
And she had tapped it. She tapped the black and mild on the back of her back of her hand before she lit it. I said, oh, this is my type of people right here.
Just a nigga. Man, we just got clean air. Could you not smoke? That's kind of a Silicon Valley unspoken. Like, you smoke a little weed, right? But like anything other than weed, it's kind of like, ma'am, we don't really, could you not? And Niram, and I knew something from your posture on the fence that something was wrong. Even Mabel was like tucked in the corner with somebody else. Everyone knew it was about to pop off.
We're just waiting.
All right, well, that's your dog beef.
And then, yeah, we had the dog beef, and then we took Mabel to the dog wash. I didn't know they had those out here.
Me either.
Out here in Colonizer Valley. They got a shit called a dog wash.
Like a car wash.
For dogs. It's like the coin op joints. Yeah. You know how you go in there and got the little coin ops, you put the quarters in there, and you turn the knob, and it got wash and rinse and shit like that.
They got that for dogs.
They got that shit for dogs now.
Because we was breaking our backs trying to clean her in the bathtub.
Right.
She got to get cleaned every 2 weeks. Just a bath. And then we take her to the groomers like every 6 weeks, so every 2 times we wash her. And it was time. And Aaron's like, it can't be hurting my back because we old school. We don't got old margarine containers.
Right.
And wrenching the water on her head and closing our eyes. And Aaron's like, is this the way?
And the way our bathtub, like, because our apartment is old as hell, so they still got glass doors and shit. Yes. So you can't even get all the way up in there. No. You got to use half of the shit, and I'm struggling.
And then Mabel tried to get away and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Licking the bath water. Niram, I need your help. You're pouring the water on me. And so I was like, you know what? It got to be a better way. And I seen this dog wash stuff, and it was pretty lit for $15.
She ain't like it at all, though.
No. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, she surely did.
All right.
So you want to do some pillow talk?
Yeah, so I think our pillow talk today is just going to be talking about buying a house, right? So what we're going to start is kind of Niram. I figure you can kind of kick off with our house buying journey, not going into the nitty gritty, but like why we decided to buy a house, what our thoughts behind it. And then after that, we can kind of go into just tips in preparing before, during, and after and buying a house, and just give like things we wish we knew, things we knew that was super beneficial, things we learned after, and just have it as a fluid conversation. Like, this is not meant to be all encompassing, but it's just stuff that we think is important. And as you're going on your house buying journey, to kind of take note of this and be able to answer these questions by yourself. But as always, you should absolutely get an agent, someone who's certified. Don't just get your cousin and them or the folks with the Facebook ad. Like, go to folks with reviews, who not new to this, but they true to this.
Right.
So I figure you want to just start with kind of our home buying journey and then our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Like, I guess our age, we were in our late 20s, and what we were thinking in grad school, or you want me to start?
No, I can start. So I was 27, 26, 27, and we was in white ass New England for going on about 3 years.
It was a little more than that one.
No, it was 3 years going on 4. Yeah. Because the thing is, we was at that one apartment that I hated.
I loved it. Oh, that was my favorite. That's still to this day my favorite apartment. It had a gas stove. Oh, it was by the mall. I love that apartment.
So it was actually 4 years because I think we stayed in the other apartment for 2 years.
Yes, we did.
So we was there for 4.
You're right.
So we was there for 4 years. So when we first moved here to white ass New England, we had a 700-foot 1-bedroom apartment.
It basically was a studio with a wall.
Pretty much, because the bathroom was in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So, and whenever we had guests, they had to come through the bedroom just to get to the bathroom, and I hated that.
I love that. Oh,
I hate
when I think about just freedom and just being my own. I love that apartment so much. I love the area. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was a dope area, but I just think I hated that thing because we had like a lot of guests, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you always had to have, and that's the thing, right? We had the smallest apartment, but we was throwing like lit shit. We had parties, barbecues, everything else, and like, I just hate because motherfuckers had to go to the bedroom to get to the bathroom.
It's okay. We ain't hiding. We ain't like what Nia. I forgot what Nia friend who just got her porn on the bookcase. We gonna start doing that though. Come in here if you want. Right. It's got dildos shining. Dustin. Don't touch everything. Everything ain't meant for everybody.
Everything ain't meant to be touched.
That's the Maple Leash.
It's gonna be dildos, Maple Leash, and fleshlights. It's gonna be hanging and everywhere.
Don't be nosy.
Nigga, is that a model of a mouth?
Is that a mouth?
Is that just a mouth hanging up? So we was at the apartment, and then we moved to our second apartment.
Yeah, that you loved, I think.
I really loved that apartment.
I was in the middle. It's a little overpriced.
But the thing was, like, we stayed in the first apartment so long that it was just kept rising, so we had to go somewhere else because we couldn't get that deal, and that was like the next best thing, right? Even though it was still a little overpriced, it was the next best thing. So I was having this, really how the house buying came up. It was really on some fluke shit, really.
Wasn't it? Yeah. It was, honestly, and to be complete transparent, it was. Yeah. So don't do the shit we did.
It was on some fluke shit. So I was like having a conversation with Nia. Because I was like, man, Nia, like, this is our second year in this apartment. I'm still going through my graduate program. Like, we need to find another apartment.
And I got a job.
And like, Naomi had a full-time job, and I was going to school, had a part-time job, whatever. So,
yeah. And I was thinking about doing a PhD. You were thinking about doing a PhD. So a PhD is anywhere between 4 and 7 years. Mm-hmm. So we had thoughts of staying a little longer.
Yeah. So, Nia had sent me this website on a fluke. It's on Nerd Wallet, and it was like rent versus buying, like what's right for you.
Yeah.
And it's basically saying, like, if you stay in a house for how many years, how much is it cheaper than renting for that long? Yeah. So he gave me that website, and y'all can check it out too. It's on Nerd Wallet, and I think we'll link it in the show notes. But it's titled like rent versus buy, like what's right for you. And then it shows like, should you rent or buy a house? Use our simple rent versus buy calculator to find out what's the best option. So, I literally just took in, like, I remember sitting on the couch in the basement and yelling up to Naomi, like, hey babe, like what's your yearly salary?
Yeah.
And then she yelled it back down, and then I put in that plus what I was making for my part-time job.
Yeah.
And then found out we was able to get,
they said if we stayed longer than 3 years, we need to buy.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Because we were like 3. Because at first I was going to say something like 10 years. So I was like, I'm not trying to say no. Because I think that's the old school frame of thought. Like, you really don't start getting a return on your investment until 7 to 10 years out, right? So when you're almost a third of done playing for, and I was like, I can't guarantee I'm going to be out here for 7 to 10 years, right? I might be able to give you 5 or 6, but 7 to 10 I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a number, it was a 6-figure number, and it was like, if you stay in this house for 3 years, you'll make more money than renting.
Yeah, you begin. It's the point at the 3-year mark.
It was
we
like the
begin
break-even
losing.
part. Yeah.
We begin losing money renting
Right.
compared to gaining money and in the house.
Right.
So that's the thing. When you get a house, on first a few months, years, depending on when you buy it, right, you seeping money, right? Like you're not going to feel the return on investment. Like it's not going to be there.
Right.
Initially.
So I showed this graph to Naomi, and she was like, "Oh, well, we'll see what you see."
Yeah,
And
I still
literally-
wasn't 100%.
Like, she wasn't really bought on it. Like, it was just more of a, like, hey, babe, they say if we buy a house at this amount, if we stay in there for 3 years or more, we'll make, $1,200 a month or whatever it was, versus staying in these apartments. And she's like, "Oh, what? Like, well, go see if you can find some."
Yeah, because I was like, well, can you find it in this price range?
Right.
We'll be transparent. So it was like in the lower hundreds, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, no, maybe the mid hundreds. That's what's kind of the range they gave us to stay in. It's expensive in New England. So I'm like, I don't know, right? Because when I'm thinking of houses, right, we from Michigan. So we're used to houses with like land and multiple bedrooms. I'm like, I don't know if we can afford that for this area, right? But doing some digging, go ahead, Neil.
We found some. So I literally just got on Zillow.
Yeah.
And typed in that budget, and typed in houses, and this house came up.
Yeah.
It
was significantly under.
Yeah. So it was significantly
like 5
under.
figures under.
It was significantly under. It was a foreclosure.
That was the thing. It was a foreclosure.
And I remember we was just sitting on the couch, and Naomi said, "Well, why don't you just put in your email and see what happens?"
Yeah, it was like about, we'll be transparent. It was a good $25,000 under our budget. For it hit everything we wanted except backyard and what it was because it was a condo.
Yeah, 'cause
I
it was
wasn't sure
condo.
about I want to do a condo,
Right.
but I was able to because this wasn't our forever home. I was able to budget. And I was like, what if we have kids? He's like, so you gonna send a 1-year-old in the backyard? Like, what do you And I remember you told me that. He was like, so they gonna play in the fucking snow? Like, what are you like, what is the
Right. So we put in on Zillow, it tells you like, put in your information,
Yeah.
and somebody get back with you. So
just randomly.
and I was like, well, I'll just put it in and see what happens. And they
We're
called
casual.
us back.
We're completely casual.
Like, we wasn't really looking and nothing like that. That
I think
was
we're
the
gonna
thing.
start the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, well, all right, if this don't go down, like, we'll start like actively looking and like really saving, right?
Yeah.
And they called us back.
Quickly.
Like, they called
careful
us
with
back the next day.
Yeah.
And there's like, you want to see the house, like it's a foreclosure.
Yeah.
And
then my red flag's going up. Like, when I think of a foreclosure, I think of Detroit foreclosures where niggas do nigga things. And it's like, oh, the bank taking my house, I'm about to take the pipes.
Right. Because that's what they do in Detroit. Because we came from
you taking the house, or I'm taking the pipes.
we came from the
Reception,
time,
yeah.
we came from the reception. So it was like that. Like, oh, you taking my house, I'm taking all the copper out of here. Or I'm taking the refrigerator, the stove, the sink.
I'm putting holes in the wall, so
Right.
nobody want it.
Yeah, nobody want it.
Yeah.
Like shit like that. So we was just very skeptical about it. Like, oh, it's a foreclosure, yada yada yada. Like, I don't know.
Like,
But,
even with it being $20,000 cheaper, I wasn't even willing to put the time it would take to do I was not into a remodel house. I was not into a house where I was gonna have to come in, create a plan and a vision. I was not ready to HGTV this shit.
Right.
No, not at all.
So we came in.
Next
and like,
house I might be though.
Yeah.
Low
So
key.
we came in and we said, well, let's go look at it. Like, it don't hurt us to go look at it because we don't know nothing about house buying and things of that sort. Like, your parents bought a house.
Yeah. Multiple houses.
Like multiple houses. So it's like, well, let's go look at it. Like, it's not going to hurt. So we went to go see it. That next night, it was funny. We seen the house. I did this on a Monday. No, I did this on a Sunday. We seen the house on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We seen the house, and then
In the middle of January.
In the middle of January, and it was kind of dark. And then we came back on Wednesday and seen the houses too. It's like, well, let's just see it in the daytime.
daylight.
It's like, oh, this is gated community.
Yeah.
It's cool, yada yada yada. And by Thursday, we had put in an offer.
Yeah.
Like, literally all in that 1 week. Like, we seen the house.
Don't
we
do what
liked
we
it. And we put in an offer. And the reason why we put in an offer was it was so move-in ready. Like,
Yeah.
the thing was, it was foreclosed for, I want to say 13 months or something
Yeah.
like that. Like, the bank had remodeled everything, and was just sitting on it, and the price was just constantly dropping.
Going and going.
It was just dropping and dropping and dropping.
And I have no idea why. Like, it went back up.
Right.
Nice profit from it.
But it was literally like the cheapest house in like one of the better in one of the nicer neighborhoods.
Yeah, because it has a really good school district.
Right.
Again, we didn't care.
School district.
They're like, oh, the school district's great.
And it's like, oh, okay, we don't care.
I'm not having kids in white ass New England. No, thank you.
So we put in an offer, and lo and behold,
we underballed the offer.
We did.
This is God, right? Don't do what we God do, right? Because once the offers are right now, we got to go backwards, right, and do all the shit we should have did months before. But that became the most. All the stuff that followed became the most hectic. 2 to 3 weeks of our life?
Absolutely.
If we would have just did what the fuck we were supposed to do in the beginning. Because honestly, we lowballed the offer to buy more time to see if they was gonna be like, no, bitches. But they said yes.
They said yes.
And we was like, oh. And we told the agent, the agent was like, oh, are you pre-approved? We were like,
oh, we didn't even go and look.
Let me go get a mortgage.
So that's the thing. Like we lowballed the offer
expecting
by $8,000. I want to say $8,000 to $10,000.
Even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than what like they was asking.
We got this house for a steal.
So we got the house for a steal. Yeah. And from that point on, I think that's where.
But it slapped us in the face the whole way through, honey. That was after that, it wasn't easy no more.
So, and the reason why you said that, and I think this is where you can kind of jump in as well, as like the whole financing part of it.
Yeah, and we got whole things we're going to break down the types of loans and all that. But the whole financing piece, they want thank goodness, by the grace of God, I have decent credit. Actually, not decent, I have very good credit. I am my father's daughter, and we even be paying a bill on time and having credit. So I am just really lucky to be very financially sound. Don't get me wrong, I had debt. I had bills, right? I had, different debts everywhere, but the way that I separated my debt, the way that I paid it off consistently, the way I moved with my accounts, I had a very, very good credit score.
Yeah.
So I was able, and I think it surprised them.
And then the thing was, like, I also had like some money saved up because I was working.
So Niram had the cash, and I had the credit score.
Like I had cash on hand because I was working, and when we was working, when we was staying in the first couple apartments, like all I had to do was pay bills because everything came out of Nyambi. So she's like to save that money. So I had this lump sum of money that I was like, well, shit, like should I put use it for a ring or whatever, or like use it for a house? And that's where we came to the conclusion, like, well, we're gonna use this shit for a house.
So we
right?
used it as our down payment, right? And the type of loan that we had, we only had to put like 3% down. That's another thing that saved us, right? So we didn't have to go completely into our savings, go in crazy mode, right? We only had to put that 3% down. And putting that 3% down, right? And because we've saved so much on the house, we're already going to the house with equity, right? So what the house was evaluated for was higher than what our loan. The mortgage would be, or what our loan, the selling price would be, by at least a good $20,000.
No, it was more than that. It was $50,000.
Yeah, it was almost $50,000 difference. So our house was worth $50,000 more than what they sold us for. So we went into the house with equity. So all that stuff plays into it when we were buying it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I don't know if you want to start going through the tips, like through our house.
No, let's. I want to say, let's talk about like how, because this is something you got to talk about, right? Like how draining it was, like those 3 weeks of
they want everything.
People wanting documents.
It started easy. Oh, proof of income. Let me see where you work at, right? And I worked for, something that was like closer to like a federal state employee, right? So it's a little bit more. Those employers, they take a little bit more jit because allegedly it's consistent money, but I guess that was before the shutdown lasted for 30 days. They out that crew now. They money ain't consistent, right? So I had to like show proof of that, like being at that company for more than like a year, 2 years. Then they wanted like my whole banking history, right? Like we're not just talking about for a year. I think they wanted to go back 5 to 7 years,
like 7 years.
They wanted to see how I was fiscally fit, and we just almost missed that borderline for when I was undergrad. Had $6.38 in my account, so we just missed that by 3 months. Thank you, Lord. Look how low it works, right? And you didn't see it that low, but they want to see over time what it looks like. Right. Of course, they pull your credit reports and they're stabbing into every piece of credit inquiry, any type of negative flat, all that stuff that's going into it. And the thing is, they call you and they ask you questions and they ask you for repeated information over and over and over and over and over and what? And over and over again. Right? I need hard copies. I need electronics copies. Get this notarized. Talk to this person. And just that piece is exhausting, right? Because I was working full time and going to graduate school. And then I'll have like my lender call me and be like, oh, I need this. And all this depends on it, right?
Right.
Like, and the thing is, my initial information, he was like, oh, yeah, because the initial information, like your idea of this pre-qualification, right? That comes from this basic information. So your work history, credit score, they can tell you right there if you're pre-qualified.
Like,
That's
yeah,
qualified. But a pre-approved, they go through your shit. And that's the stuff that takes back and forth. And at any moment in that process, the lender can be like, all set.
Right. Like, no, you ain't going to get it.
All set. Even though I got this pre-qualified, decent credit score, decent job history, at any moment, they can stop.
Yeah. And I would say that was like
that.
one of our roughest parts in the relationship.
And so if you don't answer the call so many times, they can be like, hey, bitch, don't worry about it.
Like, don't worry about it. Because
you're not responsive, right?
You know, because the thing was, like, we was on the clock with our apartment.
Yes.
And we was coming to the point where we had to let our previous apartment know, you know, what we was going to do. But you know, we was kind of already so with this idea. Well, I was, because I was like, you know, Naomi, like, this is a great deal, like financial.
It's
move,
lower
right?
than any of the rents we paid.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it was a great financial move, but you know, the pressure of her having to take that brunt on and like deal with that front facing
because we got the house in my name. Yeah, it was in my
like
name. Not
the front facing individuals. It was a lot on her because they called every damn day.
They don't care about what he doing.
They don't care, you know, what I was doing. They just only wanted to know about Nyambi.
Yeah.
And I think for her that was like very stressing because it got to the point, it's like, you sure you want this house? Because I'm not about to answer this phone.
He was calling like a bad baby mama. Now, I know you sent this, but you sure you don't have no other banks? I'm not lying to you, Jeffrey. That's what I want to do. I will show you if I have something, right? So going through all that. And once, like, even to the point of closing, like, I remember we were coming, like, even like the days before.
Yeah.
I remember it was like, oh, we're waiting for one more thing. I'm waiting to get from my boss to hear what we're going to say, right? Because the other thing we're at play, right? They say race don't got nothing to do with it, but they a motherfucking lie. So maybe a black woman had a lot to do with it, right? So they're going back and forth. And what helped is that my parents had a history of like buying home. Like they looked into all that shit. And they might not tell you, but they're not just checking you out, right? They're checking your family history out too. On like what does that have to go and play into it. But I remember what was a couple days before we were finally approved. And then that's the point where you kind of get your closing date and all that. But before that too, I know we're going to talk about it in the tips too. Remember we had to find an inspector for the house. Oh yeah. Right. So it was a foreclosure. Even though we can go back forth negotiation, they were like, we're giving you the house as is. Right. And I think that was one of the hard parts too, because it was kind of scary because, you know, nobody had been in this house for like a year, you know, 13, 14 months and nobody has been in this house. So, you know, and the thing with that is that most of the times when you find an inspector, the inspector is in the bed with the real estate. You got to be careful, make sure there's not a connection with your real estate agent or the selling agent, right? You got to make sure it's a disconnect. Because like if you go with one of them, like they're good girlfriends and good Judys, and they're gonna make sure that the house is sold, right? Because they're not working on your behalf; they're working on the other person's behalf. Yeah, so it's good if you're looking for an inspector, don't ask your real estate agent for a recommendation. Like go outwardly to like a friend or someone else. Right. I say even over a city. Like I actually even like when they have to travel a little bit more to get to it. And there's actually a website. So I think it's the American Association of Home Inspectors. So first of all, make sure they're certified. But then I would look for a couple cities over, right? So it's not that necessarily that connection to that community. So they can be a little bit more critical. Right. We got really petty. We went to the point where we asked could we record him. Right. So and he was like, he got an attitude. Yeah. I didn't give a fuck. So I came in there. You want this $200 or what? I came in there with my camcorder and me and Nia was like going through everything. Yeah. And like you noticed that we was recording his ass and like everything went from like lackadaisical to him showing us every issue and problem, right? Yeah. And just say, oh, this can be a problem. Oh, that can be a problem. Before it was, oh, this got good bones. Yeah, right. I bet it got bones. Yeah, it got a good, good everything bones. With a brick got a bone. So, you know, we had that, but and from there was like this issue with like mold. Yeah. And it was like, it wasn't like black mold or nothing like that, but it was just since it was so humid and like nobody was living there yet. It was the basement, like nobody had lived there. Like that moisture caused like little pieces of mold on like the dry water. Yeah. So after like having that inspection, we had to get another inspection with somebody who specializes in mold and, you know, go through all this other stuff. And we're recording his ass. So he on high alert as well. Yeah.
And what it really just came down to is that
Need to be sealed
like it being sealed, or like we end up cutting that piece of drywall out.
out and then sealing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, waterproof. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
Sealing it. But I do agree that's a huge part of it. That I think that was a steep learning curve. Like, and the only thing I think we really got it because we had a little bit of street smart to be like, wait, so you know who and
Right.
how and oh no, thank you.
Right.
Right, because initially son was recommended to us. We like, oh wait, y'all like cousins? No,
Right.
thank
Y'all
you.
family and shit. Like
what?
no, thank you. No, we want somebody different.
Yeah.
And like us going through that whole process. And you got to imagine. So,
And there was things that we agreed on, like that we wanted to fix, and we asked them to fix, and they didn't fix. But I think what we did in exchange was something that a lot of folks don't do. We asked for a home warranty, meaning it's like a third part. It's like the closing costs, it can be covered, where it's like a third party, where it's covered if certain things break in your house, if certain things, need to be fixed or changed, you just pay like $100 like copay or whatever it is, and it's completely taken care of.
Right.
And that's what we negotiated back and forth, because they said they weren't going to completely fix some things because they weren't broken, right? But it was the potential for it to break in the near future. And they're like, well, it's not broken. We're not fixing it. And so that's what we negotiated, to actually have a home warranty, which is not home insurance.
No.
Those are two different things. So insurance is something that you buy to protect your home for like natural disaster, fires, burglary, that type of thing. The home warranty is something that usually the other party who's selling the house gives to you and sells to you. And if something breaks inside, so say if a washer or dryer breaks, window, heater, fire alarm going, like that type of stuff.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I explain that okay?
I think that's good. I even think about like this, like, how some certain cars have a warranty on it, right?
Yeah.
And like, how now they got it where you can just buy a warranty on a car even if it's old as hell.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
And the thing was, like, we used that motherfucker too many times, like a lot, during our whole, after we got the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's something to think about and negotiate too. So the idea of home warranty in closing, especially if you got an older house or especially a foreclosure. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going to cover 100% of the bills, but I think it covered at least 90%?
Yeah.
80 to 90% of all the bills.
Yeah.
And it's normally free for you. At max, you might be paying like $500, which is still better than paying $5,000, $10,000 in the long run for these other things.
And like, some of the things that we used the home warranty for that happened, our hot water tank went up going out like 2 years later, 3 years later.
Please, I'm thinking about the furnace.
Like that's what I was going to, like our furnace. So like our heating system was jacked up because it was like the original heating system.
And the thing, it was still working. And that's what he said.
Yeah.
He's like, it's working, but any day it won't.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
And like that one winter we had 100 inches of snow. It was just cold as shit, and that furnace went out.
The furnace said, "Not today. I can't go on, Lord."
I remember Nyambi had got up.
Yeah. And
she's like, "Near, it's cold in here." And I was like, "Well, turn up the heat."
Yeah.
And like the thermostat was flashing red. She's like, "I'm not touching that."
I said, "Put on your coat."
Like, I didn't even know the thermostat can flash red.
I didn't know how to light on.
Right. Yeah. That motherfucker was flashing red. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, I ain't touching that."
I said, "Get out the house."
And like we was going through like the whole process, and like we was going back and forth with the home warranty, and we eventually got like a whole new furnace system, right?
Yeah.
Like indoor and outdoor
for like $200.
Yeah, for like $200.
Yeah.
So things like that. Our hot water heater went out.
Got one of those for like $100.
Yeah. We had some issues with the dishwasher.
Yep.
That got fixed.
Yeah.
What else
saved at least $20,000 in cost just because of the home warranty.
Yeah,
at least $20,000, and we were prepared for that if it would happen. But it was thankful to have a home warranty. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things to take in consideration that we did. It took me a while to fall in love with the house. I think that's something that people don't share a lot. Niram, you loved the house.
I did.
It took me a while. It took me a good year and a half to really fall in love with the house.
I loved the house.
Like, shit like that kept happening.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, after we moved in, like, we moved in like May or June.
Yeah.
And then like 6 months later, we had like the worst winter storm ever.
Yeah.
And like that happened.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh shit, we didn't bought this fucking house now. I can't get no refund, and the heat not working."
And I saved the house.
Right, Niram, you wanted this house. What you gonna do?
Fix it.
So whenever it was a problem, Niram, you wanted this house.
Fix it.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, all the time. I guess something else to talk about is the idea of being house poor.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
How long were we house poor for? Like 3-4 months?
Yeah, I'll say about 4 months.
Okay. You want to define what house poor is?
Um,
And that's good. Some people be house poor for like a year.
Yeah.
Year, 2 years.
I think.
First of all, let's not aim to be house poor, but okay. Yeah.
The thing was like, it was just something like during the whole process of buying a house, it was some things that we did not take in consideration that had us a little tight.
Yeah.
You know, bills still got paid and we still had dinner, but you know, from going out to the movies every weekend and going out
Doing
and
things,
going out to dinner,
gallivanting,
you know, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
To all right, we making dinner all this week.
Going out to eat, look, Soldier Boy. You going out to eat?
You going out to eat? Eat?
You better eat that peanut butter.
You eat?
Y'all know that Soldier Boy meme?
Eat. Who going out to eat? Benihana who? Benihana.
Benihana on that new stove.
So that's what we more or less what we mean housework. Like we before that we was in an apartment lifestyle. We can go out to eat.
Like we were able to save for retirement.
Yeah, like we were
rainy
saving
day,
money.
All of it.
We can go out to eat whenever we want. We're like we can pretty much go on vacations, do everything we want to, right, and still be all right. But you know, it was just some things that we didn't take in consideration of when we bought the condo, right?
No, like painting the whole house, making sure you like. I think it might be just nigga things too, right? Mm. Like you have to furnish a house. Like,
yeah.
And again, not that we didn't, like we weren't living in an empty house,
no.
But when you start writing checks, right. You're like, God damn, like right. How much is that washer? How much is the fridge? Right? And closing costs. I owe a title insurance. I got to pay an attorney. I gotta pay for this like they just kept going. Right. And again, nothing's crazy. Nothing's over $1,000. But if you have 10 lines
and the shit just keep adding up
with 900 on it, you at 10 stacks.
Right. So it's like that type of stuff, right? Like, so we go through all the clothes and stuff, and then, you know, we got to get a fridge because it had no fridge. We got to
again, we think considering that. Yeah.
We got to get a washer and dryer because it had no washer and dryer. We had old apartment furniture, right?
Yeah, oh shit. Yeah.
Like apartment stuff that was already 4 years old that we bought from Discount Furniture. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Bob. Shout out to people on East Coast and Bob Furniture with that old raggedy shit.
You know, so we had Discount Furniture. So, you know, we wanted to get new furniture in there. You know, there was other things we wanted to buy. So, you know, it was those type of things that we didn't really take in consideration. It's like, all right, we got this house. We about to move in with our old apartment furniture.
And you get in there, you be like, something here ain't right.
Right. And that's the thing. We didn't have adult furniture. We had we had straight out of undergrad, this is what we can afford type furniture.
Yeah, stuff you sit on at creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to sit on it easy. Because if you sit on too hard, it break.
It break. And you get mad. Don't you be plopping your big ass on my couch.
Look, this cheap. That's why I ain't even real wood. Just pressed wood.
This is pressed wood. With plastic nails in it. And you plopping your big ass. Nails. And you plopping your big ass on my couch.
Sit light.
Right.
Sit light down.
So, you know, it was those type of things that, like I said, you couldn't go out to eat 3 times a week or go to Benihana when you got those type of shit. You know, you spent so much money doing those things. You know, so I think that was like the main thing when it came to, I want to say, like, quote unquote houseboard. Like, we wasn't eating ramen noodles, but shit, we couldn't go out to Benihana at the you know, spending a grip on the washer and dryer and a fridge. Yeah. It was like, nigga, you better fill that fridge with Benihana food.
Yeah.
You better put some shrimp in there and some rice.
Yeah. And
go from there.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's pretty much like the house process and like buying and things of that sort. Are we missing anything or should we go into the tips?
That's it. That we'll go into the tips. And like I said, we'll do like a part 2 on like how it is to like sell your house and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what are some tips we got?
So these are just things that we're thinking about all around, right? Mm. So the first thing is start saving for a down payment early. So the thing is, what's common is usually about a 20% down payment that most lender now require you. However, depending if you're a first-time homeowner or if you're a vet or if they have like special programs in your city or your area, you can go as low as 3%, right? Or sometimes it's 5%, right? So the biggest thing is that you have taken consideration that, like, especially if you're a little older, this ain't your first rodeo, I will really have that 20% down, even if you don't end up using that entire thing as a down payment, just to have that money. Wouldn't you say that, Nero? So just to keep in perspective, 5% of a down payment on a house that's $200,000 is $10,000, right? So if you want 20% down, you need to have $20,000 off rip. But I would even add, like, have that extra 5% as a cushion, right? So outside of your 20% down, I would have another 5%. Just set aside just for like shits and giggles.
Yeah,
right.
It.
Like
so
just for shits and giggles.
You might want to you might want to paint the cabinets. Might want to paint the house. You might want new furniture. You might want to just do whatever, right?
Yeah, I would even say outside of that, like just for fuck shit, like moving. Right. That was the last time ever I'm moving with friends. Right. And that still was too much money from, like, you need to have money set aside for moving costs and what that looks like when shit go down. Like, just having a good 25% or whatever that percentage down you're going to have, I would have an extra 5% just to play with.
Right.
Period. Right. And if you don't end up using all that money, you start putting that away in a rainy day fund. Because that's when you become a homeowner. We then had to not only have an emergency fund, but just a house fund. So if anything pop off with the house, that's the fund that we go into. The next thing is exploring kind of your down payment and mortgage options. So I think that really goes into the types of mortgage options you have. So they usually break down into 3 categories. You have a conventional mortgage, a Federal Housing Administration loan, and a Veteran Affairs loan. So the Veteran Affairs loan is, if you're a veteran. And sometimes they require no down payment at all. Like it's super flexible for you. The Federal Housing Administration loans, they're called FHA loans. Those are the ones with the lower down payment.
Right.
So those are the ones with like the 3.5%. The conventional is more like the standards like set by the government sponsored entities like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, right? They can be as low as 3% down, and they're also the ones that go like through the bank, right? So those are the overarching types of loans that you can get. So that idea of a conventional loan where you kind of go through these different like federal entities or like banks, right? FAH, first time homeowners, more help assistance programs, right? And then the VA, right? That has their own types of specialty loans and like with the GI Bill.
Can I put a pin right there real quick? So another thing about that, like the FHA loans, like this is where like discrimination can come in, right? So when you're thinking about staying in, like for example, our housing community, right? Where it was a gated community, it was a cul-de-sac, whatever. They didn't accept FHA loans. Like you can move in there with a FHA loan. Like even though, it's still a loan, you can, you get money and things of that sort. But historically, they was like, oh, by getting that, you can't afford to be here.
You can't even be here.
Like you can't even be here because you went through government assistance or whatever, get that. So that's another thing you also got to think about, especially in housing communities, like, with HOAs, home owners associations, condos, but also when you're looking at somewhere that's in a competitive space.
Yeah.
So, say there's a house you want to buy and there's a couple offers and you might have the best offer, like the highest offer, but it's a FHA loan.
Yeah.
So what they mean is that, oh, well, we won't take that offer. We'll take the lower conventional offer because it's less hurdles to go through. Yeah. So by having an FHA loan, like there's a lot more hurdles you need to go through. Like it needs to be approved by like the government and like different inspections and things of that sort. It's just a lot more shit you have to do because it's almost like government assistance type thing for buying a house that some home sellers won't go through. Yeah. Because it takes a lot more time to get your money, and a lot of other things can go through for you not to get the house versus them just going through with somebody who has like a Veteran Affairs loan or a conventional loan because they know that money is already there, and once they're approved.
Because with the FAH loan, something also to highlight on, your FICO score can be as low as 500 to qualify. So all those things that go into it, and also mortgage premium payments are required. Yeah, so a lot of discrimination can go on in that area. And also within the different types of loans that we're talking about, like there's different kind of loan rates, right? So within the conventional loans or the VA loans or the FAH, you can break them down to different times and paying them off, right? So within that, you have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, right? So this is the most popular loan, home loan mortgage, which is what we had too. Your interest rate never changes, and your lower monthly payments than with shorter term, longer payments, right? So again, 30 years, this is what it is. Your rate never changed. That's how it is. The next one is a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. The interest rate is set for the life of the loan, just like the 30-year one. Lowers interest rates with a longer term in loans. But the thing is, you just have a higher monthly payment than with a 30-year mortgage because you're paying it twice as fast. This is the other one. This is a little bit tricky, and this one we had to really adjust and learn a little bit about. It's called an adjustable rate mortgage. So it's a home loan with initial rate that's fixed for a period of time, then it adjusts periodically. For example, a 5/1 ARM has an interest rate that's set for the first 5 years, and then it adjusts annually from there, right? So, but you got to keep in mind the initial rate is almost a teaser rate, and it's mostly much lower than most.
Right, so it's like 0% or 0.01%. Like it's like some fuck shit, right?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, after that 5 years, like your interest rate up go like 22, 26%.
Yeah. And the thing is, it can be locked in for 1, 5, or 7 or 10 years. But once that unlock is done, the banks can do what they want with that bank and fluctuate how you want to, right? So that's more better for folks who are really to pay their loans off really quick, right? So they have other means and they can really do it quick. And there's other types of like interest-only mortgage, FAH ones that we've already talked about. The VA mortgage, usually no down payments required. There's usually upfront VA funding fee, no mortgage insurance. And there's other different types of insurances too, and mortgages too. But this is something just to think about. It's something called a jumbo mortgage that I didn't even know about. It can be fixed or an adjustable rate, but it often requires the borrower to have a FICO score of 700 or higher, and usually requires a down payment of 25% or more. So again, there's such a variety of ways to do, but those are kind of the base ones. So usually you're going to do conventional FAH or veterans, and within that conventional FAH or veterans, you're either going to get a 30-year fixed rate, 15-year fixed rate, or you're going to get that one that has a fixed rate for X amount of years. Then after that, it's flexible.
And then another thing to mention, because I remember this, is that different mortgages would try to make you tag on shit. So they'll try to get you into like a mortgage insurance type thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is like what they call for like riskier borrowers. This is the type of shit they usually do for the people who got FHAs to say, okay, well, you know, your income and stuff is a little bit riskier than we want, so we require you to get this insurance. And basically what this insurance is it's pretty much like an extra payment that you're doing, and it's more money that you're putting in. And basically what it's supposed to be used for is that if you have a family event, you know, somebody die, you lose a job, you can go to the insurance and that'll pay a couple bills or whatever while you're going through that. But the thing is, here's the kicker: most people don't use it. And most people even forget about it because they usually just tie it all in with your mortgage. Like your mortgage is not necessarily just one bill. Like it's, you know, that insurance, your house insurance, as well as your, you know, as well as your mortgage and everything else. So that's one of the ways they can get you on that. And that's extra money that's coming out that you're just paying to a company, and you're not getting any of that money back. Because like I said, most people just tend to forget that it's not even there. So, you know, for those individuals who are in the process of buying a house, you know, that is definitely one thing to look at, because depending on the lender, they will try to make you get that insurance. And most of the time it's useless. The next thing to really look at is like researching different state and local assistance programs. So, you know, in addition to like different federal programs, like many state also offer like assistance programs for like first time home buyers, and like with different perks and things of that sort. So, you know, there's also a like, you know how they got for FHA for federal, but they also have like a state FHA as well.
Exactly.
And it still do the same thing where it provides perks for like people who are first time home buyers. So like the down payment, they might even have like down payment assistance or closing cost assistance or different tax credits or discounts on your interest or other things like, you know, different bonuses and your taxes might be a little bit cheaper since you're a first time home buyer and things of that sort. So, you know, that's another thing to look at. And then like moving on from there, like
to like the application tips.
Yeah.
I think this is huge what you were saying there. And really determine how much home you can afford, right? And we can put up that calculator along with this home affordability calculator to really see if this is the best thing for you too.
Right. So that's the thing. Like the internet has tons of different calculators. So not just looking at one of them, like look at multiple ones to figure out, you know, what's what. And like I said, the one from NerdWallet was definitely useful for us because it really showed out a graph to say, all right, how much rent are you paying now? How much do you make? You know, and based off of that, this is how much house you can afford.
Yeah.
And then it shows a graph of like where you will break even at and when you'll start making money being in a house versus staying in an apartment. And I think that was pretty damn dope. Anything else about that?
No, I think it's really good. Next is we're going to talk about credit and checking your credit and pausing new activity and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that people don't tell you. Like when you in the process of buying a house, they don't want no activity on that credit, like
nothing
at all. So that whole process of, you know, 3 or so weeks, or, you know, after we got a pre-approved and it was like, you know, 3 months to the closing date, they don't want any activity on there. So, and I think that's more of those scary parts that people don't tell you about. Like they want your credit to stay that number or raise higher within that period. So, you know, that's when they tell you like, you got any other purchase you want to do? Don't use no credit cards. Freeze all credit cards, freeze all anything, you know, pay off these bills. Like these bills or like pay off this debt because it would help with your credit score. Because what they're pretty much trying to do is figure out, you know, the best way to get you this financing. Because like Naomi had said earlier is that anything, like any false misstep, they can be like, no, we straight. You don't get the house.
Yep. At any moment. For any reasons.
So like, you know, that's one of the things like, you know, when you're applying for houses and getting that mortgage, your credit is definitely one of the key factors. So that would help, you know, determine your interest rate and, you know, the possibility of you getting a loan and things of that sort. So, you know, you want to check your credit at one time and like see that, but also go through your credit and like dispute anything that's like dragging down your credit score, or look for opportunities to like improve your credit during that time, or like I said, make payments on any other debts. You know, anything that'll keep your score from dipping while you're applying for a mortgage. That's the things that you want to do. So, you know, no buying a car and a house in the same year.
Exactly.
And I even say after we even bought the house, they was like, you know, don't go buy a car or don't be making no moves, you know, for the next 90 days after this. So I would say for, you know, a good 6 months, you're not making no big purchases, but this house. Don't do nothing. You just freeze.
Yep.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
What's some other good things to talk about? We talked about the idea of like shopping around rates. So don't just go to the first lender you're presented to, right? Like, so really looking at different rates for you to do. The idea of getting the pre-approval letter, right? I wish I would have did that too, right? And there's difference between the pre-approval letter and the pre-qualification letter. Pre-qualification is just that initial you know, you look decent, right? But you want to go to a pre-approval level, right? Because you do a lot of that pre-work that we had to go through where we had a house like, oh, we really love it, but we have to make sure we can get the money. The pre-approval helps for that process. And also it makes you look like a serious buyer too when you're going. So if they have multiple offers, it makes you look really, really good when you're going up. Say if you're in a competition. We didn't have that much competition. We only had a little bit of competition.
Right.
But our offer was just more consistent, better, and firmer.
Right.
Than what other folks were doing. The next I would say is make sure you hire the right agent. A lot of folks don't tell you, like, you really have to have a good working relationship with them. So you'll be working really closely with your real estate agent. So it's essential that you find someone you get along with. The right buyer agent should be highly skilled, motivated, and knowledgeable in the area. And they work for you and you pay nothing to them.
Right.
Right. They're not getting paid to do. Like, they are getting paid because they at the end of buying a house they get a percentage of that.
Right,
but it should be no upfront cost to you.
No. And another thing is knowing like some of these agents don't fuck shit.
Yeah.
And
if
knowing
you get
that
any vibe of
if
fuck
you're
shit,
not
leave.
feeling an agent on anything,
Leave.
call somebody else and have another agent show you that same house.
Yeah.
Because it's really about that of finding somebody who mesh well with you. Luckily for us, like our agent meshed well with us, but when we sold the house, there was definitely some discrepancies between different agents that we ran into who was like representing us to sell the house.
Yeah.
The next thing is like picking the right house in the neighborhood and things of that sort. So, I think that's really up to y'all. Like,
and what were you
and you're in your situation. Like, if you were young like us, like we was in our 20s, like we bought our first house before we was even 30. No kids, double income. Do you need a 6-bedroom house?
Yeah.
Do you need a 4-bedroom house? So, taking that things into consideration and knowing that, you can build up to that.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing, right? Of course, I wanted a house with huge kitchen and all these types of things, but really seeing, did it meet the foundational things I leave? Did it feel safe, right? And could I get a return on investment when I leave to set me up to buy the next house that I wanted, right? Or give me the money that I needed.
Yeah. You want to go through like other mistakes that first time homeowners may avoid, or
yes. I think we talked about this a little bit. So some of the mistakes I think we did is just not budgeting enough for closing costs, right? So closing costs can be consistent, but they generally run between 2 and 5% of the loan amount. You can shop around for different prices for closing cost expenses, but you're going to have homeowners insurance, home inspection, title searches, title insurance. You're paying for attorneys, all the percentages for selling agents, all the bonuses, all those things get there. But I really didn't have the idea of what closing costs would be, because that's the check you have to bring when you go sign the 1,000 pieces of paper. Like they're saying, for you to get this is
right.
what you got
you
to
need
bring.
to bring in check $5,000.
Period. On top of, I don't care what down payments you said
right.
that's cute, right? But closing costs is a part of it too. And sometimes you can negotiate for the other person to pay closing costs. Y'all can do it 50-50 or percentages, but I think you never balance enough.
Well, and thinking about or saying that one of the things that we haven't mentioned is that negotiate everything.
Yes,
like
I think that's a mistake. Never pass up on a chance on negotiating.
Everything in the whole home buying process is negotiable.
Yeah.
From like I said, home warranty to who paying closing costs, who's paying inspections, who paying who lawyer. Like everything can be negotiated. And knowing that, depending on like how eager the person is to sell the house, or how eager the person is to buy the house, all that can be negotiated. And that's one of the things that many people don't tell you.
Yeah.
Especially when you just bought when you're in the process of buying your first house, is that everything can be negotiated.
Yep.
And the thing is, sometimes we just don't know.
Yeah.
Like it can be negotiated.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I thought about when we was in the process of selling the house.
Yeah.
Which we'll also talk about a little bit later.
Yeah. I think a mistake we did is really knowing the idea, like in the limits of home inspection. But it's there. Also, something interesting is I think this is more money in like the closing fees and when the first few months of having your house, like surveying, right? It's essential to get a survey done on your property so you know exactly what you're buying, right? So where does your property end? Where does it begin? Because you have to pay taxes on that type of stuff.
Right.
Like even though we're a condo, we own beams in, and the homeowner association own beams out. We still need to know where everything was at,
Right?
Right, and the fees that are associated with it, and also. Something to take in consideration if you're going to a condo, to understand homeowner association,
Right.
Or even certain neighborhoods have homeowner association, and understand what those rules are.
Right. And like even going and getting all the minutes and budgets for that as well, so you can see what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be, you don't want to be in a homeowner association where there's some disarray and motherfuckers fighting and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And all that should be in the minutes. But also like the whole thing about like the knowing the limits of inspection, right? So inspection is not everything.
Yeah.
Most of the time is what inspectors can see. Like, they're not moving anything out the way. They're not moving any furniture. They're not moving anything, right? So it's pretty much what they can visually see with their eyes. So, if they can get the crawl spaces, you need to go in the crawl space too and see what it is. Yeah. If you think it's pest, you need to bring in another person. If you think it's motor or radon there, you need to go get another inspection on somebody who specializes in that. Absolutely. Like, when it comes to a general inspection, they're just pretty much seeing what's up to code and what's not physically. It's like they're not testing any of that stuff.
Yeah. Perfect. And I think the last couple things is like underestimating the cost of home ownership, period. Right. So when you buy a home, the monthly bills keep stacking up. This can come as a surprise if you're not ready. Right. It's not just the mortgage, especially for those first 6 months. It's like giving your home a physical. Like, it's someone who's been out of shape. You don't know who you date, and like they got to get their whole checkup, and all those things have to be in place. And also the idea of miscalculating repairs and renovation costs. They're all expensive. Whatever you think is going to be, add another 10% at minimum to it on how much everything costs. And then, Niram, you jump in if not. The last thing I would say to take in consideration is for another recession to come and if layoffs come, right? So if another recession hit, everything tanks, what do you do? If layoffs come, what does that look like? Yeah. And being prepared for that, right? What does it look like really to have to live off one income or combining multiple incomes? That was one of the biggest things Niram and I had. We wanted to have this house and just live off one income. Right. So if only one of us was working, we'll be fine. Or if only of us had half a job, we can still be fine. Right. And just to take that in consideration, because it happens.
Yeah, it does. Is there anything else about home buying we should talk about?
I think that's we did a wide variety of things. Like, it's a great thing, right? And it ain't for everybody, though. Like, but just do your due diligence and take your time and go through it, and it's completely feasible. For the folks who've bought homes, y'all send us emails. How did it go? What did it look like? What are your tips? What did we miss? What's one things you want to point out? Let us know. Yeah. All right. Want to close us out?
Yeah. So as always, to submit your Black Love story, go to blacklovematters.com. To leave a question for Kitchen Table Talk, shoot us an email at blacklovematters@gmail.com. To leave us a comment about anything we talked about in the show, you can do it on our website or our voicemail at 508-784-1111. That's 508-784-1111. Talk to y'all later. Remember,
love is ever evolving. Peace.